When putting together a strategy to pursue a comfortable retirement, you'll want to consider many factors. One of them is inflation. Why? Because inflation can be like a thief who sneaks into your portfolio, robbing your money's purchasing power over a period of years. I am Peter Lynch, an associate at Henssler Financial, and in this episode of Planning Priorities, I'll be taking a closer look at inflation and how it can affect your savings. In simple terms, inflation refers to the rising cost of goods and services over time. Are you sometimes surprised to see the price of eggs, milk, your favorite athletic shoes, or everyday items go up from one month or year to the next? That's inflation at work. Over the past century or so, prices have risen by just a few percentage points each year, on average. However, that 3% long-term average, as measured by the Consumer Price Index, disguises many peaks and valleys along the way. For example, during the Great Depression of the 1930s, prices actually dropped for several years in a row because demand for goods and services was so low. And in the late 70s and early 80s, prices rose each year by double digits, due in part to the oil crisis of 1979. Yet even a seemingly low inflation rate can have a dramatic effect on prices over the long term. Consider this table, which shows the effect of a 3% annual inflation rate on some typical items. When you consider how far off retirement could be and how long you could spend in retirement, you begin to see the importance of including inflation in your long-term planning. If you don't build a large enough nest egg before you retire, or if you spend too much money during the early years of your retirement, you could risk outliving your savings. So, how do you help ensure that your money lasts as long as you do? One way is to save as much as you can before you retire. Increase your retirement investments whenever possible. Another way is to invest at least some of your money in growth-oriented investments such as stocks. Equities provide a hedge against inflation because higher prices are built into the stock price. Companies can often pass their increased cost to the consumer. Maintained or even increased revenues eventually translate to higher earnings, and over the long haul can translate to better returns. Although past performance cannot guarantee future results, stocks, as measured by the S&P 500 Composite Total Return Index, have outpaced inflation by a wide margin over time. Including some stocks in your portfolio both before and during retirement may help you keep that sneaky inflation thief at bay. Keep in mind, the S&P index does not take into account the fees and expenses associated with investing, and individuals cannot invest directly in an index. All investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. There can be no assurance that any investment strategy will be successful. If you have questions about how to handle inflation in your financial plan, the experts at Henssler Financial are here to help. I'm Peter Lynch with Henssler Financial. Thank you for watching.